Hi, Patty Greer and Chris Burres. I hope I said your last name right, Chris.
You did.
I'm very excited about this gathering because I have been using C60 product this year more than ever because I actually became more involved in the C60 product. And I'm seeing a significant difference in myself. And I told Patty that I need to really get together with you guys. And here we are. And I wanted to introduce briefly Chris. I just got your bio through Patty. And it's incredible that you have been involved in this C60, which is a nanomaterial, which has been used as part of the nanotechnology for the most part. And you have been involved since 1991. And then you are also an engineer like me, and you are also an artist like me. And you have all these interesting things where you use both your right and left hemisphere. So I'm excited to meet another person who is a scientist like me as well. And then Patty, oh my God. So Patty and I met in 2015, December, right? And when we met, it was like a synchronicity where we were just dining together, and then we had a conversation, and then we were working in the movie, and then we became friends, and we stayed friend through thick and thin, even though a lot of time people come in your life and then they go. But Patty and I, we have this transparency. Exactly. And we basically are very, like we know that we can trust each other. And I think that nowadays, that one is one of the hardest commodity. So if you can find someone who you can trust, my God, don't let them go. So here we are, and I'm going to give the floor to Patty so she can go ahead and introduce herself, and then Chris, you, and then we will dive into our conversation.
Thank you. Well, we were at a Native American event, and it was extremely magical for me. And I brought my camera because I knew Laura Eisenhower was going to be there. And I wasn't sure why I was going to film her. I just knew I needed to. And then I ended up meeting so many incredible women that I filmed all these beautiful women, including you, for my 6th movie called Women of Today. And what was nice was we were featuring normal people doing amazing things, which I guess we all are normal people doing amazing things if we're lucky. So you as a rocket scientist, I've heard you say, yeah, Elon, he knows some things, but not enough. It's like, I love that about you. And then my geeky partner here and my other geeky partner in college invented the C60 machine to manufacture fullerenes to be useful for industrial purposes. And only in the last 5-6 years, they've upgraded the process to be healthy for humans and pets. And now we have mastered the science, and Chris and Robert put out the greatest products of the ESS60 world, which is the evolution of the carbon-60 molecule to become safe for humans and pets. So it's not C60 anymore that we sell, it's ESS60, which is it's just a finer manufacturing process, but then people can take it and know that they're going to be safe because it's been manufactured to be safe for humans and pets.
Okay. And what does ES stand for?
ESS stands for elemental safe spheres. And then, of course, the 60, because there's 60 atoms in the molecule. So this is really what we're talking about. This is the ESS60 molecule. For those of you who are listening, I'm actually holding up a model that really looks like a soccer ball turned into a chemical molecule, where the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have a spherical molecule of 60 carbon atoms. And yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yes, and I love that because it's Buckminster fullerene, and I'm very intrigued by that because that shape actually relates to the E8, which is how our reality gets created with the tetrahedron shape. And I don't know if you guys have watched the quantum hologram from Edgar Mitchell. It's on Prime Amazon available. But my God, it gets into this shape so deep and so down. So I love the fact that I'm telling you, it opens the door to everything that I have understood about our holographic universe. So
interesting. Yes. Okay, so the first product of ours that you took was the olive oil. Did you take the C60 Evo olive oil?
Yes.
Okay, super strong. Have you noticed anything from using this product? I'm curious.
So just, so in general, like last year, just like everybody had their timing when they were getting hit by COVID. And for me, it happened in the December. And one of the things that COVID did for me personally was that my energy was just drained. Like it seemed like somebody had just sucked it out of me. And I was really looking to recover myself so that I can manage my day-to-day tasks. And I believe that this product really kind of helps to not make you feel lethargic, like it takes the lethargy away. And then the very fact that it's so high in vitamin C, right? I mean, vitamin C is the solution to every problem one has. Like that's the first place you should go if you have any challenges. Go ahead.
Yeah, just one note. So the C, it's really carbon. There's no vitamin C in our product. It's olive oil with the ESS60 molecule, right? Which is the has been described as the perfect carbon molecule. So I just wanted to make sure that we're on the right page there. There's a lot of kind of other kind of fractions of the olive oil, the base carrier oil, that are also amazing antioxidants and polyphenols and stuff. But yeah, that's an important distinction.
One thing that I noticed that when you get this delivery, it says on the piece of paper that the antioxidant that the C60 provides is equal to X time vitamin C.
Yeah.
Which is the reason I was mentioning that.
Yeah.
And I was like shocked because I didn't know that. So if you can tell what that number is.
Yeah. So just a little bit of background, just real quick. They actually thought the molecule would be toxic. They put it in a toxicity study. In that study, the test subject, in this case, it's Wistar rats that they gave the C60 Evo formula to, lived 90% longer than the control group, and they all died without tumors. Now, a lot of people are like, wow, 90% extension, that's amazing. And it absolutely is. How is that? Like, what is the mechanism? That's, it's not just us engineers who ask that question. Lots of people ask that question. Almost everybody does. And there, if you were to canvass the medical community, their thought process on what causes aging is that it's two things. It's oxidation and inflammation. And it's interesting that our product ticks both of those boxes. And I got to be really careful to kind of follow FDA guidelines here. In terms of an antioxidant, you're right. There's an ad hoc study out there on the web that shows it to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C.
Wow.
There's peer-reviewed published papers in different contexts in terms of antioxidant capabilities, 125 times more powerful than vitamin C. So it definitely ticks the box of an antioxidant. The next is inflammation. The FDA thinks very specifically about inflammation, and that inflammation refers to a disease. And that's the correct way to think about it right now, although they're shifting from inflammation as the disease to mitochondrial dysfunction as the disease. So that may actually go away at some point. It turns out that we are probably helping both. In terms of inflammation, the FDA does allow us to say that our product helps inflammation, at least related to exercise inflammation. So we've all had, a really intense workout, or we've walked a longer distance than normal and felt that inflammation the next day. The FDA allows us to say that our product does help with that inflammation. What it doesn't allow us to say is any other type of inflammation. Again, we just need more research to really put that at the right platform. I will kind of wrap this up with saying our product fits perfectly naturally in the anti-inflammatory diet. That's a diet known with as blue zone people who have reduced incidences of stroke, reduced incidences of heart attacks, and also tend to live longer. So those are really the two key things that people might look towards as to why these rats live 90% longer.
Okay, so I'd like to clarify one thing, because when you go on the website and just search C60, it shows up as harmful for human being, not FDA approved, but you're using the word FDA a lot. So please tell me, is the product that you guys are making is FDA approved?
Well, I think so I did that search the other day and was surprised. Yeah. And really the FDA in general doesn't get involved in the supplement market, right? So they get involved there. In fact, the first time I read this, being in the supplement industry was not my chosen path. Basically, it was chosen for me. Thanks really to Patty, because she started spreading the word about the benefits. And then we started getting lots of phone calls. And so we're like, well, this is an opportunity to really keep the consumer safe that we can't pass up. So now I'm in the supplement industry. And as we're deciding to get into the industry, I'm doing research on the FDA. What are the guidelines? What are the T's I got to cross? What are the I's I got to dot? And I actually found, and I took a screenshot of this because I was convinced this would, they would remove it quickly, but it's been there forever. The FDA does not require you to prove that a supplement is safe before you put it on the market. And I'll tell you why that's not that shocking. But for me at the time, it was incredibly shocking. Again, I took a screenshot of it because I thought they would remove it. So the FDA doesn't actually track supplements and need to approve supplements. And I can give you an example. There's 3 of us on this call. We could each have a different ratio of vitamin C to vitamin D, and we could each have our own supplement. And there's no way that the FDA has the manpower to approve that before it goes out on the market. What is your responsibility when you have a supplement that's on the market is to report any adverse side effects, any adverse events, and they need to be severe. And we haven't had to report any to the FDA because as near as we can tell, the toxicity level of our product is the same as the toxicity level of olive oil. And you might wonder, well, what's the toxicity level of olive oil? I can tell you it probably involves drowning, right? Like there is, like,
You have to drown.
right? You're not going to be able to consume enough olive oil for it to be toxic. Actually, water is probably more toxic than olive oil.
Yeah, especially if you drink it out of your tap. So you are absolutely right. So since you're talking about toxicity, I'd like to ask, is there a different level of toxicity between olive oil versus avocado oil versus coconut oil?
Well, so you look at like quality oils, and one of the ones there is a company out there, and again we call it's the industrial C60 space that claims to have a product, and they sell it in sunflower seed oil. It's one of the sunflower seeds is one of the worst oils that you can consume. Olive oil is one of the best. I really love. There's a former thoracic heart surgeon and 2-time New York bestseller, Dr. Gundry, who says that the purpose of food is to get more olive oil into your mouth, right? Olive oil is an amazing oil. The polyphenols in it, and we use a high quality olive oil, so it's rich in polyphenols, are just absolutely phenomenal for you. And then you kind of go to avocado oil. That's actually, in terms of nutrition, it's, avocados are a good fruit to consume and are really on Dr. Gundry's approved food items. And then MCT, the positive impact of MCT on brain function and on actually being able to, if you're kind of into doing things keto, you can actually kick off ketones, and MCT directly is a usable energy source by your body. So it doesn't have to be converted in order to be used. So our 3 oils, we've stayed away from the oils that we understand to not be healthy for you.
So Dr. Gundry, is that the same doctor who actually sells the MCT product? Because I started taking it, and he's the one who made this very long video where he explains how keto diet completely compromises the system that you have, because it bypasses the whole ketone making process within your body, which truly does not help ultimately, because you don't want to bypass something, because then it takes that feature away from human being, which is a natural sustainable feature. Is that the same guy?
It may be. His most recent book is called Unlocking the Keto Code, and is basically about mitochondrial dysfunction and mitochondrial function. And I know that he takes our formula, right? I'm not saying that he endorses it, but I do know that he takes it.
Not yet.
Yeah, that would be nice one day. And so, yeah, I think there's a number of people out there saying, hey, you got to be really careful with, ultra high fat diets. And if you're just going for keto, there are some things that you need to be aware of. And keto doesn't work for everyone. And really, Dr. Gundry goes into why it doesn't work for everyone. And it's related to mitochondrial function. Now, what's interesting, we talked about antioxidants, we talked about some inflammation. There's one interesting thing about our ESS60 molecule. By the way, this is a theory. It's supported by some research and is still very much a theory, an early theory. We say that the ESS60 molecule is the boss. It's a buffering oxidative stress system. So when you start thinking about the mitochondria, just quick refresher, mitochondria is the powerhouse of every cell. Every cell in your body has somewhere between 500 and 5,000 mitochondria in it. And it's the thing that converts the food that we've consumed that's been processed and is now flowing around your blood system into the energy that the cells use. It's called ATP. So as with any kind of energy production process, you're going to have byproducts that you don't want. In the case of mitochondria, it's reactive oxygen species. These are the things that you take antioxidants for. The reason you take a vitamin C is so that you can help control the oxidative species in your body. Well, the mitochondria deals with those reactive oxygen species really in two ways. It's got two antioxidants that kind of reside and are produced by the mitochondria. That's melatonin and glutathione. Glutathione, super popular right now, probably because it's good for mitochondrial dysfunction. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, is something that's good, but you have to be careful how you use it. In any case, it's interesting that the sleep hormone is involved here, and we're about to talk about ESS60 because sleep is one of our better testimonials, most consistent testimonials. So just real quickly, imagine that your mitochondria is producing the ATP, the energy that your cell needs. It's got these reactive oxygen species. I like to think of them as this like mob of drunken people on Bourbon Street, breaking glass and cars and doing all this damage. And the melatonin, the police, the melatonin and the glutathione actually grab those, handcuff themselves to them, so irreversibly bond to them, and then get them out of your body. We can say down to the police station. But we understand that our body can get depleted. And when the police, the melatonin and the glutathione have been depleted, now these things are just running around like bumper cars, running into stuff and breaking it. And that's where this ESS60 molecule, the buffering oxidative stress system, comes into play. Again, a theory. So these reactive oxygen species can bond to the exterior of this soccer ball cage, not irreversibly, but reversibly. So then when the body's able to replenish the glutathione and replenish the melatonin, the ESS60 has, like a paddy wagon out on Bourbon Street, has kept them from doing damage. But now those glutathione and melatonin molecules can bond irreversibly with those reactive oxygen species and get them out of the body. And I think all of this paints a really, really kind of clear picture of what's going on against Stoa theory.
So bring it back your shape again, because I want the Buckminster shape you have in your hand, bring it back.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you this, that isn't it one of the things about C60 that makes it so incredibly special is that it's a hollow molecule, right? So there is that bonding, that is what happens. So if you can explain the process of creating the C60 in the most simplistic way you can, because I'm extremely interested in it. I already saw a couple of videos, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. So I'll just be real quick because there's a lot of nuances. In fact, we met a guy the other day who built a reactor for manufacturing it. It was beautiful. He's a very talented engineer, and that piece of equipment will never work, right? And it's well designed, but it will never work because of the nuances involved. Basically, in order to manufacture this molecule, but first off, let's share, it's a naturally occurring molecule. Right? So if you collect the soot off of a candle flame, which usually you just hold a cold steel plate over the candle flame and you'll get that black soot on that cold steel plate, that's got parts per million, parts per billion of this ESS60 molecule, right? So it is 100% a naturally occurring molecule. Now, parts per million, parts per billion is not in the range where it's any value to actually add to a supplement to be consuming. And so the way we manufacture it is we take 2 graphite rods, which happen to be some of the hardest material in the world to vaporize. We vaporize those graphite rods with a huge electrical discharge in an inert environment at a reduced pressure. So you're using vacuum equipment, you're using, gases. In our case, we tend to use helium as an inert gas, and you're vaporizing these graphite rods in that inert reactor, and that's the beginning of the process. I'll keep that kind of short. So it is that's why it's a very expensive molecule.
At the heat of the sun, those graphite rods are heated.
Yeah, we have to have welders screens between the viewport and the actual reaction, or you'll burn out your retina. You'll actually, in the early days, we would actually get like a sunburn if we didn't have that welder's glass on all the time.
So that is that is the good thing that you what Patty said just now, is that because, you know, you're not using any laser, right? You're actually using, so that is interesting on creating the stimulating the energy. Basically, that's what you're doing through that process.
Yeah, you're just creating enough heat to vaporize graphite. Again, one of the hardest materials on the planet to vaporize.
Wow.
Right? So you guys are major scientists. I'm just a consumer and I read all the testimonials in the comments. So I'm going to simplify the ROS and the BOSS down to what that means for my little body. When I started taking the ESS 60 in the olive oil, it was like a roto-rooter. So when he says it goes through like the paddy wagon and grabs all those nasty little creatures and it takes them out, I agree, because when I started taking it, I had a lot to detox and it was really hard at first. And I thought, is this good or bad? And then it's just wonderful detox. Did you find that you had any stomach ache in the beginning from clearing your system? Because it really does vacuum us out and leave a much cleaner place. My body just feels cleaner. So you didn't feel that. Good.
Not significant difference. As I said, my thing was that it was a positive. And the thing is that, you know, it's kind of interesting, right? You feel more energy, you feel younger. Like I feel like that I'm like reverse aging just by virtue of the way I live now, because I don't pop any pills. I take everything in a liquid form, including C60. And I'm very conscious about that. And the whole reason I wanted to talk to you guys, and of course, we want to get into these two products, which is what I'm using. And I have friends now because they're looking at my skin and they're saying that, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm doing this. And I love the smell of this, by the way. You guys did such a good job by putting, oh God, I love it. So I would like you, let's see, we have only a few minutes left because, you know, as I said, this is like opening the can of worms for me because for the first time I realized that C60 is something that I want to get way more dive into it. We're going to have to make some other, time to converge in this discussion. But I definitely want you guys to spend a few minutes telling me that what's the difference in how you do the one that we take it within our body versus the one that we put on our skin, and how does it affects our skin where it makes a difference, where it truly does work.
Yeah, it does. We have the original facial serum with 21 organic, natural, vegan ingredients. Have you tried this one also?
You know, this is the one you gave me as a gift, remember?
Right.
You sent it to me and I
Right.
used it, which is the main reason I actually got this, because once you sent it to me, I just loved it. And I love everything that's oil because I feel like it takes away, like there's no other stuff in there. You know, it's like it's all clean. It just goes straight to your skin and it gets absorbed in your skin when it's purely in the oil form. So I just love that versus any kind of cream on the face. Wonderful.
Well, the new product, the two-piece, is a combination of the luscious cream with another molecule Chris will explain called UTH-29. And the reason that we mix the two products in the palm of your hand before you apply it is because one is oil, one is water-based, and we would have to use emulsifiers and chemicals to put it together in one bottle. So because we're really trying to not do those things, we have it in two bottles, and you squeeze the tall, beautiful, luscious blue cream into the palm of your hand. Chris is going to be our model. And then you do 2 little drops per squeeze of the amazing rose oil, and it's got the ESS 60 and a variety of other ingredients. But what he's doing is he's going to rub it together to
Activate it.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. And then apply it. And that's where you're going to get the best results. So my mom, 93, she was like, oh, that's too much work. I don't want 2 bottles. But anybody under 90 is really enjoying it. And I'm getting, so people are saying your skin looks younger. Can you feel the difference?
You mean like by touching it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is softer, younger. And I'm kind of grateful that I come from the heritage I do, because our skin is generally, ages differently than other people's skin. So it has been not as rough of a ride as it is for other people. But as I said, even I'm feeling significant difference. And I just love the smell. I love the feeling. And I know it's hard to tell my skin right now, but I don't have anything on my skin except these two things. Like at least on this part of my skin, I didn't put it deliberately because I wanted to make it transparent. And I know that, because I'm sitting right in front of the window, I look way younger than I am, but that's the secret of the light, right? So yeah.
Well, you're in your 30s, right?
That's what everybody says. And whenever I go with my youngest son, who is 11, everybody thinks that's the only child I have. And I'm like, I'll take that.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Skin does look fabulous. I put on my glasses and I almost shouldn't go on camera because once or twice a year, I go to the skin doctor and I freeze everything that could potentially not be good down the road. So I'm full of frozen things on my face, borderline, I should go on camera. So I apologize for not great skin today for me, but heck, look at you. Look at Chris. You guys are like teenagers. So Chris now is modeling our lip renewal balm. He loves to model.
Wow. Okay.
Have you tried the lip balm yet?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh my goodness. Chris, how do your lips feel?
They feel delicious, actually. Like that's one. I like the mint flavor. So yeah, it's amazing. Like again, this was about Patty approaching. First, I do like to share. We really didn't want to get into. I didn't want to get into the supplement industry, like just because I was very happy as a happy-go-lucky carbon nanomaterial scientist, and ultimately, our customers kind of twisted our arms to get into the industry, and we're happy to be delivering so much value. But then Patty approached me and said, "Hey, let's do a face serum." And I was like, yeah, you can imagine how excited I was about doing a face serum after not wanting to do supplements. And then her next one was, let's do a lip balm. I'm like, well, why not?
I'm so glad that Patty is there keeping you straight because, she's representing the feminine energy that really is needed. And that is actually good for men and women both, because I think especially for men, they can't just put foundation and look good. So they're actually coming out pretty much looking the way they are. And they really need this product even more than a woman. Women can hide it with foundation, whole bunch of layers. Men, they can't.
Yeah.
So they need it as much as women needs it. So no, I'm grateful for all of this. And I know in the interest of time, we're going to have to take a pause at this point, but I would still like you to give a summary, Chris, for anything you want to say last minute before we adjourn. And I'm extremely excited that I met you today because we're going to have more conversation on this subject.
Yeah, I think the summary, when I share kind of that research, my journey, not necessarily wanting to be in the supplement industry and really owning a lab that's doing the right things and investing in the right research. At this point, a lot of people start asking like, okay, well, I would like to try some. How do I do that? And Patty does the best job of explaining the best way.
Thank you. So our website is C60 Evo, like evolution, because we are representing the evolution of the carbon 60 molecule. I did want to slightly quickly answer. You had asked, why do I see articles saying C60 is not good for humans? You did ask that, which is an important question. It's because there's other companies selling it. Yeah. That's the truth. Bottom line, there's
I can address this. So that FDA article you found was really the FDA telling a company out there selling industrial C60 to not talk about COVID. Basically, they were saying their product solved this and that, and that's, in my mind, unconscionable. Like, it's just not. You've got to do the proper research in order to be able to make claims like that, and that's basically what the FDA was selling to them. So it's just unseeming individuals out there with industrial C60 doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, and that's not us. We do have a brand new product, which I'm going to throw in at the last minute because of the recent thing that a lot of people have gone through, people that chose to do the thing in the arm. Also, losing a lot of hair. People have lost a lot of hair. So we have another 2-part product. Chris, do you have one of those handy?
I do.
The hair renewal. We also have a 2-part hair product that we just put out in the last week or two. And this is, again, the UTH29 and a different formula for the ESS60. You put it on the crown of your hair. I was losing so much hair. I called the lab. I said, I'm begging, we got to do a hair bring back product. And all my friends were like, what the hell's going on? So the guys at the lab, Chris surprised me again. He's like, guess what we have? So now it's available. It's called C60 Evo Hair Renewal Duo. The facial serum that you love is the Youth UTH 29, but we spell it YOUTH, Youth Renew formula. I'm really glad you love it. I go back and forth with that and the one part, which I just love the smell.
That's what you were talking about, because I've used both of them and I think they both are good. But this one I used it more like, you know, on a frequency because so it's interesting when you said that you are having a trouble deciding which one is better, because
They're both better.
yeah, exactly.
No.
Because I feel like, yeah, I'm just loving, and I think I love the rose smell. But I'm so grateful that you guys created this hair product, because, you know, one of the things that happened with the whole thing that's been happening in the last 2 years with COVID is that one of the side effects is hair loss. And I went through hair loss myself. I had to cut my hair short and so forth, and it's coming back. But I have no problem taking product that will enhance it even further. So I'm definitely going to get on it. Also wanted to say, for the sake of wherever this conversation or video will go, is that I'm the affiliate working with Patty on this product, even though I'm a brand new and I don't have anybody under me, but that is why I'm making this video, so I can educate the masses that there are so many goodness in the C60 Evo products, that you can get something for your skin, you can get something for your hair, you can get something for your overall well-being, which is one of the primary reason your business is standing. And that is something that everybody should at least give it a try, because antioxidant, my God, with the amount of bombardment we're getting from our world, in the world we live in, food, water, electromagnetic field, we need something to protect us from inside out. So I'm grateful for this product, and I'm grateful for Patty and Chris, and we shall meet again, but bye for now.
Bye,
Thank
Shehnaz.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, recording just stopped on my end, Chris.
Oh, yeah,
No
It's
let me
still
see.
recording.
Yeah.